A pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Coles Brown. The first show of a new year. Happy New Year to everyone. Everyone. It is a blessing to be able to see another year. Our guest menu looks like this. We're going to have two members from the Jaguar Athletic Group in hour number two. They're going to be talking about their organization and how you can be involved. Southern University alums and supporters and fans. So we'll talk with them in hour number two. What's trending? Simply, conference basketball season has started for women's basketball, but the men will start their conference schedule today. The transfer portal is open, and boy, as usual, there are a lot of student athletes in the portal, but only about 50% will find a new home. We'll ask the panel about that. And of course, we'll just have our SWAC basketball report in hour number two. Once again, like and share this video stream here on the Black College Sports Network, the Coles Brown Show. Now, with that being said, let's bring in the panel for 2026. Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Happy, everybody. Happy.
Good morning. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year. And as for me, it's a blessing to see 2026. I was just in my extra room at the house, peeping out of the blinds, making sure that I was going to be okay. 30 years ago, I would be partying all over the place. But now with middle age upon me now, I learned to appreciate things and kind of calm down. But once again, Happy New Year to everyone. Well, we saw what was trending. The conference basketball season will be starting for the men. The women started their conference schedule this past Thursday. The transfer portal is open. And then, of course, we will have a special guest from the Jaguar Athletic Group. Well, we could almost continue from last week. The conversation we had with Board of Supervisor Chairman Tony Clayton. Gentlemen, it went viral, literally, all over the place. About 12,000 views on Facebook. Also, I talked to Tony Clayton the next day, and he was in the Bahamas vacationing. Boy, are we to be lucky, huh? And he said he ran into some folks vacationing, and they saw him on the interview on the Coles Brown Show. So that is very interesting. Naming rights. We can wrap that up if you want to. We were talking before the show started. It's a conversation that's going to be had all over the HBCU realm. Charles, it'll be interesting to see. In Southern's case, they have looks like they're going to be committed to doing it. Naming rights. It's part of, I guess you could say, the new realm of HBCU athletics and sports, and now it's not that it hadn't been a business, but it's truly now really a business realm for athletics.
Right, but Carlos, to me, it's not just HBCUs. It's happening all over the country. If you think about it now, the NBA teams have renamed their, they renamed their arenas after whoever the sponsor is. I think the Lakers, they just recently changed their name. And here in Huntsville, Alabama Huntsville, for years, you went and played at Spraggins Hall. It's no longer Spraggins Hall because this fall they sold their naming rights to that arena, and now it's Sports Med. So I just think it's another avenue or that athletic departments are looking at in order to make some more money. And with the way things are going now, every athletic department needs as much money as they can get. So I just think it's something that they're gonna have to look at. We know that in some places where names were given to family, that's going to be a difficult talk. That's going to be a difficult conversation. But if the families are in tune to the institutions and what's going on in today's landscape, I think some of them will agree that a name change might be appropriate. So it's just something that is new for us at HBCUs, but it's been going on because Alabama Huntsville, that's a Division II school, and they're PWI, but they see the value in coming up with over $1 million for the naming rights.
Charles?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good conversation, an excellent conversation. And Tony Clayton, I appreciate his honesty. I appreciate him coming forward and talking about it. And it's gotten discussion. It's got me thinking. It's had me thinking all week about it. Like, how do you do it? It's one thing if there's a facility that doesn't have a name, like in Huntsville, Alabama A&M Event Center. You can. That is probably an easier transition because it's named after Alabama A&M. But when you're talking about, lights went out here. I think it's a motion thing. But I think that when you're talking about naming or taking a name off a facility like Mumford, for example, I just put myself in Tony Clayton's shoes. If I'm him, I'm got to get my board on, involved in trying to convince the family to do it. I'm not going to assume that there's going to be an easy yes from them. I'm going to assume because of the historical value of the Mumford name, Mumford Stadium's been Mumford for 50 years or however long it's been. That may not be an easy conversation. You got to be prepared for that. And so you got to get a lot of hands on board before you talk to the family, and then you got to make sure the family's on board with it. And even though it's $1 million a year for 10 years, whatever it is, I'm taking the approach. It's not as easy as you're talking about it. So I think it is the wave of the future, but how do you do it? How do you do it respectfully? How do you do it gracefully? We know the financial implications, but how do you do it respectfully for the family? Would American Airlines go along with calling the stadium American Airlines Mumford Stadium? What if they say no? Then what? And so and I don't know all those business ramifications, but you got to be prepared for both. So I think it's a very difficult thing. Can it be done? Yes, but I think it has to be done respectfully, gracefully, with dignity, and you got to slowly do a roll on it and not necessarily think about the dollars on the back end, but just the respect for the families on the front end.
And now, Charles, just for let me jog your memory. When you first went into Alabama State, new arena, it was the Joe Reed Aquadome, right?
Right.
It is not. It's no longer Joe Reed Aquadome.
Okay.
Yep.
What is it called now?
Huh?
What is it called? What is it called now?
Isn't it the Dunn Oliver or Oliver Dunn? Bama State changed their name. They took Joe Reed's name off of that arena now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that's a HBCU that has gone through this, had the name change. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just more concerned about the process on the front end and how you do it, and maybe the potential, not saying it's going to happen, but the potential backlash, because there are some historians of the Mumford name that are going to say, hey, what Mumford sold for Southern University. And so, I mean, you got to be prepared for that. I mean, it's not just, I don't think it's ever going to be a clear and free path to this. You got to get your PR people involved because there's a PR component to all of this. So there's a lot of moving pieces. I just don't think, in my opinion, it's as easy as just doing it. You got to get everybody involved, the family involved. They got to sign off on it. So I'm just saying that, yes, we're in a new era. But when you're trying to do this, you got to be graceful and respectful of everything, because if not, it could pose some problems down the road to me.
Right.
Well, I'm going to assume that you're going to do it the right way. You're going to do it respectfully.
Yeah.
Now maybe I'm naive. It's not always easy to do things. Change is not always easy. But sometimes if it's worth it, you got to do it. And you do it respectfully. Now, I'm just judging from the show last week, just from the comments, and then after the show all week. If I were to take a poll, I would assume, I'm thinking that 80% of the Jaguar Nation is for this. So I don't think somebody's going to go out there and run roughshod and do something that's not distasteful. But it's something that is needed now, and I know I'm for it. It's not trying to disrespect the Mumfords and all of that.
No, I'm
don't
not saying disrespect the name. I'm just more into the process, more so on the front end, making sure everybody is involved, all pieces are involved, board members involved, the chancellor. I mean, because you're going to have to convince the family at the end of the day. You're going to have to convince the family and sell them on this concept. And that's where for me personally, in my heart and soul, not how do you do it, but you got to get all hands on deck and make it comfortable for the family to say, okay, we are Columbia Blue through and through. And yes, I'm all for it. But then if not, then that conversation has to continue, because you just can't just do it just because they say, no, we're not in agreement with it. How do you do it? And I'm not saying something's not going to do it disrespectfully. They are. But I'm just saying, just in terms of making sure all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed in that conversation or conversations, I just don't think it's going to be one conversation. I think it's going to be several to kind of make sure everybody's on board.
Hey, Wheeler, what about as an AD? Would you propose like a statue? Let's say if you're going to change the name of the stadium, Wheeler, would you say, well, let's give them a statue in front of the stadium? Couldn't that be a compromise, Wheeler?
I think that's something that would be feasible, Coach. As a way to appease, the masses, that sort of thing. Showing that you're being respectful about the entire process, that you're willing to go above and beyond, that sort of thing. You got to tread lightly. I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. And you got to get all facets involved, from the board of trustees to the families to, the masses in and of itself, surveys. I mean, the whole 9 yards. You got to exhaust all avenues in terms of getting it done. And even more importantly, a lot of these businesses, they want exclusive rights.
Right.
So I mean, you may have some issues there with, I'm just throwing a name out there, Southwest Airlines at Mumford Stadium. They may just want Southwest Airlines exclusively, So, then you as an institution are going to have to make a decision whether or not, that money is worth it. Somebody always said all money ain't good money, even though I kind of disagree on that. It's all green and it all spends, but I mean, you got to be mindful, of your base, of the masses, and of history. That's the main thing. Our schools were founded when there were nowhere else for us to go, la-di-da, so forth and so on. I mean, we have to be mindful of that and respect that in everything that we do, including the financial aspect of it. And I think if it was that easy, a lot of other schools would have done it by now. This isn't a new concept by any means. It's getting a lot of airplay now, which is great. And hopefully it's causing some people to think. But you just got to be mindful of it.
I'm afraid that let me be careful. We've got to move along, and again, you can do it in a respectful way. Now, Will, you say it's just getting a lot of airtime, and it's not anything new. Nobody's saying it's new, but if it was the case, why hasn't it been done before? Again, I just think our thinking, we can't be stuck in a time warp. You know, we've got to move it along. 20 years from now, we'll be having the same damn discussion.
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, you had it. You know, when do we mark time and stay in the same realm, or do we move along?
That's
I,
not
no, I'm for
what I'm
moving.
saying, Carlos.
No,
that's not what
but
I'm saying.
this
And
is
I
what I'm
firmly
saying,
believe,
Willa.
and I firmly
This is what
believe
I'm
that it
saying.
hasn't been as prevalent now because it's a difficult and touchy subject. It is. And, those that are or have been or could be involved, understand that or need to understand that, and the need to tread lightly is paramount. It's not about not doing things a new way or the old way of things are dead and gone, that sort of thing. It's not about that, okay? But it's
Hmm.
being mindful of your history, it's being mindful of everybody's feelings involved, and it's just that's just it to me all the way around. So I'm for finding new avenues for revenue. There's no doubt about that. I'm always be a proponent of that. You
Hmm.
know, but at the same time, you're not going like you tell a coach not to sell his soul for a win. We as administrators and board of trustees and whom else, we got to be mindful that we're not selling our soul for $1. And our soul in this instant is the names that have earned the right to be on a particular building, that sort of thing. That's sacred. And we got to honor, the sacredness of that path. I'm not saying not do it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to be mindful of the process involved, and to make sure at the end of the day, we're not hurting anybody in our quest to go
Well,
forward from a dollars and cents point of view.
I'll give you another example, Carlos. Let's say from my alma mater, Grambling. Let's say I think Delta Airlines' original home was in Monroe.
mhm.
Let's say if Delta Airlines wants to put the Delta Airlines Stadium instead of Eddie Robinson Memorial Stadium. I would think it would be so deep to prevent that from happening that the governor might get involved in it and say, you know what, that is not going to happen because this is state property. And the governor can make a statement and make a stand. And I think it would get just that deep. So I just think you have to be careful. I mean, there are other ways to do it. And I'm not saying this shouldn't be the way. All I'm saying is you better get all parties involved from Tony Clayton. If every board member, I'm going to go to my board members first. And if they're looking at me funny and if they're uncomfortable with it, before I even present it to the family, I'm not going to take it any further because at the end of the day, if there's problems, the board members, as well as Tony Clayton, if I have to answer to that. And that's and I mean the chancellor, the provost, the president. I mean, there's so many pieces with that, in my opinion. I might be wrong because I don't know the infrastructure. But if it's me, I'm going to involve everybody in the process. And when the family comes in, I want the family to look at every single administrator from the president to the AD, to the chancellor, to the provost, to the board members. And I want that conversation to include everybody to where they're comfortable with who they're talking to. And at the end of the day, they may say, no, I'm not comfortable with it. Then where do you go from there? So that's just kind of where I am with the process. I don't have a problem with the dollars. I don't have a problem with a 5-year, $10 million deal with Southern University and American Airlines or whatever the company is. But the process is what I'm looking at more so than anything.
Coach Pettaway.
Well, no, I was going to ask you a question. Carlos, is the field named after anybody? At
Pete
Mumford
Richardson,
State?
Pete
Or
Richardson
Steve
Field.
Field?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking about what they did at the University of Alabama. All right, it's Bryant-Denny Stadium, but you're on Saban Field. And all that is part of the name. So other schools have looked at different ways of incorporating their greats in terms of the coaches and the administrators and still come up with dollars and cents. So that's what That's what we as an institution, as HBCU, we got to look at, because we're the ones that decided we were going to go Division I. To stay in Division I, you got to have money. And you got to look at every avenue to bring in money, because we cannot run our programs relying on ticket sales. It's not there.
And Coach Pettaway, I think you got to go into the corporate community. Put all those options on the table.
Right.
You know, all that is part of your spiel, so to speak, when you're selling the fact that we need to add naming rights, you know, to that repertoire in terms of funding. You know, and we need to let the masses know this is just part of the process. You know, this ain't the end all do all. You know, there are other things that we're doing, which include A, B, C, D, that sort of thing. This is just a part of that, a piece of that, you know, a necessary piece of that. You know, and we're asking everybody to stay involved.
And Willie, here's the other piece to that too. These corporations are just not coming on board, not just for us, HBCU, but they're just coming on board for some of the PWIs when it comes to these corporate dollars. You're just not getting the opportunity to walk through some of these doors to get those corporate dollars. But it's coming at a great time, though, because this is a time that we got to find other ways to fund our programs if we're going to stay relevant.
I can only speak for myself. I'm for it. You can go through the process. You can have everybody involved. But at the end of the day, what's going to be your answer? Let's say hypothetically, the relatives of Mumford goes against it. You've also brought up, let's say Delta says they want their name on there exclusively. If you come to that point, then everybody involved will have to make that decision. For me, it's not about tramping on legacy. Hell, I'm a history major. I'm a history guy. There are other ways that you can work through this. Get everybody involved, but at the end of the day, what is going to be the decision? And I, as a Southern alum, a supporter, I'm for it. I'm for it. We've got to move forward. I see in the chat room, boy, there are a lot of conversations going. I think we have to be more creative than destroying the legacy of those who paved the path for us to hold this conversation and have the opportunity to do these things. Great time and a great cost. I just don't think you're destroying somebody's legacy. Somebody's name is on there. You cannot destroy A.W. Mumford's legacy. You can't do it.
But is it perceived that if you take his name off a facility, is it perceived that way?
Can you put it on another facility? Have we said exclusively take his name off? No, I think you could do both. That's just my opinion.
How would you feel if it went from the Carlos Brown Stadium to the Carlos Brown locker room?
Guess what? I wouldn't have a damn problem with it. No.
I'm just saying.
You asked me, and I answered you.
I'm being facetious, but how would your family members see that when Carlos is gone? 50 years from now, when Carlos is gone.
I'm going to tell you.
I'm saying they might not like that.
Well, guess what? If it's for the student athlete to get a better experience, to help Southern be viable 100 years from now, don't have no problem with it. And if they do, and if my family do have a problem with it, that's them.
Yeah. But Carlos, that's why I say the statue. What about I would put a statue in front of the stadium. If I had to give up the naming rights to a corporation, I would put up a statue in that person's honor.
I mean, that you can do. You could do other things as well. Mumford Stadium powered by American Airlines is not hard.
Right. If American Airlines goes with that, they may want exclusive.
Yeah.
In order to get the money, it might have to be an exclusive.
I'm for it. Which PV would do it? Yeah, I think we're trying to make this too difficult. Charles, you brought up the process. Willie, you talk about legacy, but I think you can do both without destroying everything. Hell, I would like to see other institutions in the conference do it. It's 2026. It's not 1986, and you can still honor those who've come before.
Do we
And
know
the ones coming after us.
do we know that it hasn't been tried though? Do we
I don't know, Charles. Can you answer that? Do we know of anybody else?
I would think, Charles, that it probably has, but at the same time, these businesses are looking for something also. And if your attendance if you only bringing 25 people to the stadium, I'm just throwing that number out there just to be throwing it out there. You're not going to be as attractive to Southwest Airlines as a school that's bringing in 30,000. So and neither are you going to get or should demand the same amount of funding, for that naming right. So, a lot of our institutions are small, and they don't have the kind of eyes that a lot of these major corporations and major businesses like to see, so naturally they're not going to be as attractive to the larger sponsors as some of the other ones, like Southern, like Jackson State, like, some of the other larger institutions, that sort of thing. So I think all that kind of plays the cost also.
Well, I know we fly a lot. I know African Americans, if we were a country, we would be the 8th largest country in the world. We spend a lot of money, but we're not keeping it in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So black folks buy cars, and they buy a lot of them. They buy food. So I think Tony was right. You have to demand such, whatever you can get. Delta Airlines say, with, I guess your point, LSU, they would have a bigger package. They would expect more, but we're not chopped liver. We're not chopped liver the way we think things that we do and the way we spend. Now, another question would be, do we spend it in give back to our community? That's another thing. What can we do? And see, there's other things that we can do as alums and as people. And Jaguar Athletic Group is coming up in hour number 2 to explain some of the things that we can accomplish with that. But as I wrap up this segment, I'm for it. As an alum, as a supporter, I'm for it. And it's about the student athletes as well. We're forgetting about them in this picture. They want nice things. They're there to get a degree. I understand that. But they're also there as athletes, student athletes. Give them what they need. Give them what can help them get through this life. Well, everybody's weighing in.
Yeah.
Bill says, I don't think you have a great desire of local, regional, national corporations with desire to put their names in college stadiums, arenas, or buildings. But keep the names, but have the sponsor, the athletic complex, American Airlines, Southern University Sports Complex. There are ways to get in there. We are the only people I know willing to tear down who we are for a buck. I won't respond on this anymore. We no longer have a moral compass. We are like persons in life now hopping Bob. I disagree with that one, but 80s and 90s Amtrak and Southwest Airlines sponsored a lot of HBCU
Yes, they did.
Yep. Capital City Classic, Alcorn Jackson State, sponsored by Southwest Airlines. That was a fact.
Our producers weighed in. I hope she doesn't mind me reading this, but I will read it. It would be nice for African Americans to respect our heritage and not demand exclusivity. But with money comes power, and we have none. So now, what, y'all? We can't expect them to care about us like we care about us. Interesting conversation, but we're gonna have to, boy, we're gonna have to cut it right here.
You're not gonna please everybody, Carlos. That's never gonna happen.
No, you're not. No, you're
No,
not. No, you're not.
no. But for me and my house, we support. We support what's going on, and whatever I can do to help facilitate it, I'm gonna do it. Hey,
and
I'm
you gotta
Southern
look at,
University for life.
right, and you gotta look at it this way for our athletic departments. We need as much money as we can because now the name of the game to get players is to have money for them. How else are you gonna get the money? The alumni are not giving you enough money to pay these players. The portal just opened. There are over 4,000 football players in the portals. I think that's just Division I. There's a different number for Division II, division number for Division III. Do you realize how many of these kids not gonna have anywhere to play next year? They're giving up scholarships in hope of getting something better. All of them are not gonna get anything better. Some of them not gonna get anything. They had the best thing that they had going, and they're willing to sacrifice it to try to get something better. So in order for us to survive as athletic departments, we need money, man. Times have changed. They're not just coming because you can spew together some good words sitting in that living room or sitting at that kitchen table with them parents. Those people are looking for money. How do you get the money? You got to explore all avenues.
And Coach Pettaway, you know, we're talking about the kids in the portal that not going to have a home. You know, how about all them high school kids,
right,
that's not going to have a home because people in the portal are getting scholarships that would normally be going to
them,
a high school recruit. You know, so we're talking maybe 50% of the portal kids not finding a home. It's probably going to be more like 75% when you look at the high school kids who aren't going to be able to find a home also in terms of scholarship.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. I've talked to some parents that have that concern. But when you look at it, if I was a coach and I'm not, I know you got to win, and I know you got to win quickly now, but I would have a balanced approach. I still wouldn't forget about the high school kids. You have to recruit some. I think the coaches are doing that in the conference. You remember we had Coach Carlos James on, and he basically, to your point, Willa, he said he was going in the portal. It's just the way it is, and he's not really going for the high school student athletes anymore. But I think you have to be, that's that word again, balance. You got to have a balance. You have to recruit, and for what I've seen with this new staff, they've got commitments from high school kids. The portal opened up Friday. They're going after student athletes in the portal. They're going after student athletes in the JUCO ranks. To me, Coach Pettaway, that's a balanced approach. One size doesn't fit all. Dr. Chris said, will not come out of the many corporations DEI funding in this current environment. Don't get us started on that. And that's why in hour number 2, I'm bringing up an organization who's saying, look, what can we do? Forget about Delta, forget about American Airlines and all of that. But that's fine if you can, but you can't live by bread alone. What can we do to help our universities? And that's what they're gonna talk about. If companies are willing to do it big, and make it worth it, then it should be considered. I do feel like it should have been happened though.
Yeah. Well, see, so when you look at, let's for example, Golden Lion Stadium, or the former Golden Lion football stadium. It used to be called Golden Lion Stadium. What is it called now? Simmons Bank Stadium. And it didn't have a name. It wasn't named after anyone, if I'm not mistaken. So
that makes it easier. That makes it easier.
It makes it easier. It makes it easier. I'm not against it, Carlos. I'm with you. These are the times that we're in. And I didn't even think about naming rights. I didn't even think about it before Tony Clayton brought it up. So I'm not against it all I'm concerned of someone that's kind of in the media, the PR spin of it, the perception and how you do it, because you have to do it decent and in order. And yeah, there's some families that are going to go for it. They're going to be like, hey, I'm all for it. Let's go. I'm all for the Columbia blue. But what about the ones that are saying, no, and even a statue? Okay, a statue, you can't assume that it's just going to be a kumbaya. Yes, let's go. What if
we'll have to have a deep discussion then, brother. We will have to have it behind closed doors. I understand where you're coming from. What if this happens? What if they don't do this? What if they're not in agreement of this situation? But what if they are?
Oh, if they are, then that's a very good seamless transition conversation. You get Delta Airlines, you got the families already made their decision, and you go. That's very simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's one of those where the business part of it, everybody's on board. That's fine.
You be prepared to live with your decision. If you make a decision that the masses don't like, which will probably be one of many, that decisions that you make that they don't like, you just try to, grind it out. So at some point in time, like you said, everybody's not going to be pleased with the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
That from being an administrator, that sort of thing. If the institution is on board and, the board of trustees is on board, the powers that be that are on board, then at some point in time, you go ahead and do what you feel like you need to do and try to keep it moving as much as possible.
It sure was. Humphrey said, yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a timeout. Women's basketball started Thursday night. We'll take a look at some interesting game. And I'll tell you what, Prairie View played Southern University tough. I saw the whole game. Watch out for Prairie View. In a few years, maybe even next year, they'll be in the discussion. And then we'll set the scene for men's basketball. Got some good games coming up today and Monday. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Yeah, we're back. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, joined by Charles Edmond, live from Jackson, Mississippi. Wheeler Brown, Baltimore, Maryland, and Coach Pettaway in the great metropolis of Huntsville. Coach Pettaway, some
Yes, sir.
Thursday night ball games, final scores. Of course, the women start on Thursday, the men Saturday, and then exclusively by themselves on Monday. But a big upset, Coach Pettaway. Charles was texting during the last couple of days. Alabama A&M dropped a 72-74 decision. Mississippi Valley State. You know, Coach Pettaway, on any given night, any given day, you could lose. And of course, Alabama A&M was favored, but I think, in my opinion, it's just going to show you how it's going to be a lot of competitive games in this conference on both the women and the men's side.
Right. I had the opportunity to watch part of the Southern game and this A&M game. I watched the first half. The second half didn't come up. I was trying to watch it on SWAC TV. But turnovers hurt Alabama A&M. If I'm not mistaken, they had 34 turnovers in that game. You're not going to beat anybody when you turn the ball over like that. So that hurt them in that basketball game. That one may come back and get them toward the end of the year, because when you do your schedule, when you look at your schedule as a coach, I know I did, you put in your mind these are certain games I'm supposed to win. And I want to say that I hope that Alabama A&M went into this saying that we're supposed to beat Mississippi Valley. And when you lose a game like that, now you got to turn around, Carlos, and win one that you think that you put a question mark by. So when you be realistic, now some coaches are going to tell you they don't look at it that way. But I'll be doggone if you're going to sit up there and look at 30 games on the doggone schedule and think you're going to win every one of them. You better be realistic to yourself. And I've always done that. I may not publicize what I went after, but what I've always did, I wrote it down and put the date on it, and I filed it. And then come back at the end, and then call it. I'm serious. Then at the end of the season, see how close you were. See how close you came to your expectations for your team. And I just think that was a learning tool for me, and I always did that. But yeah, that was a tough loss for Alabama A&M. But I'm gonna tell you something. I like your Southern, man. You all got size, you got speed. I think the coaches might be right. I think your women might finish first. But now I'm gonna tell you something. Texas Southern and Grambling now, they're both playing. That was a great game, Carlos.
61-58. Texas Southern goes on the road.
Yep.
And get it done. And Alabama State, I think I called this one. I said it was a slight upset, but I don't know. Alabama State over Arkansas Pine Bluff, 71-65.
Yep. Yeah, and then so that was all. You on January the 1st, you had our 4 games, and now everybody will play today.
Yeah. Well, Carlos, I was talking with Nate Kilbert, for our pregame, and I asked him about these games on Thursday, and I asked him, was that an upset? A&M losing the Valley, and he said no. He said first of all, it is very well. Now, I mean, what he's saying, and I know he's a Valley grad, of course, so you got to add that in there. But it is tough to win at the Harrison Complex. I'm gonna tell you, they play so hard, and they play better at home than they do on the. They play hard every game, so you got to prepare for that. But when you're playing at the Harrison Complex, they play hard, and obviously with 34 turnovers, I just saw the box score. You're not gonna beat anybody with that, But Valley just plays hard, and they seem to execute a lot better at home than they do on the road. So you got to give Valley credit, remember what they went through last year. The whole thing with that coaching situation and, who's going to be the coach, and for them to get it back together, I think there's a lot about Mississippi Valley.
Okay, and then, but Charles, 0 for 6 from 3, and you shoot 55% from the free throw line. Who you going to be?
Nobody.
And you got 34 turnovers. Come on now.
Yeah. The 34 turnovers alone will cost you a game, and even you could have all those other numbers work in your favor, but you're not going to beat anybody with. I mean, that's opportunities that you just don't have. So yeah, I mean, you have to give Valley a lot of credit, but for Alabama A&M, I mean, this was a team that had a deep run in the tournament. A lot expected from Don Brown's team, and you know, it's a long season, so there's going to be ups and downs. Every team's going to be in the tournament, and we can have that discussion because that's, you know, some people don't agree with that. We used to have 8, then 10, now all 12 teams are going to be in the tournament. So you're going to have ups and downs. It's just a matter of if you're playing well in March and you get to Atlanta and have a good run like some teams did last year, then you're fine. But this was not a good start for A&M, and I got to give Texas Southern credit for them to go into Grambling to win that game. I got to give him Coach Skeet, quiet as it's kept, is doing a really nice job at Texas Southern. You know, I think the lights were big for them in the tournament last year, but they did a nice job. It's not easy to win at the Hobby now. So I give Coach Skeet credit for going into Texas Southern. I mean, going into Grambling and getting it done for TSU.
Right, and that was the late game Thursday. I had the opportunity to watch that game. That was the late game Thursday. So, you know, SWAC TV is going to give us an opportunity to see all of these teams, especially when the times are staggered. The only time we're going to have a problem is like today where everybody's at the same time. You know, you can't watch multiple games, but I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a big year in SWAC basketball.
If I'm going to drop some games, I'd rather lose early than lose later on in the season. You know, if I'm going to drop something, now's the time.
Heck, I would like to. I wouldn't want to drop any.
Well, you never want to drop any, but you know, if you got a choice,
that's unrealistic. I know.
But Carlos and guys, here's a question. Okay, so we all talked about the struggles of our team in non-conference, right? We got one win. Jackson's got one win. Okay.
Do we have to remind?
Hear me out. All right, so we're playing this gauntlet of a schedule. Our men getting $1.2 million in guarantees and not a home game. We're the last D1 team, by the way. I hate to say this. We're the last D1 men's basketball team that has not played a home game. Our assistant coach reminded me of that the other day.
Shame on them.
I didn't know that, but that's it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. Do you really, Coach Pettaway, and just for everybody, do you think you really know your team right now, considering the gauntlet of games, the lopsided score of these games, and here it is, your first conference game in which everyone is paying attention to? Do you know your team a lot at this point, considering you played a number of games?
No, you don't, because a lot of stuff that you tried to execute, those kids couldn't do it because they were overpowered. That's why, Carlos, I've always said you got to have a balance, man. You got to have a
word again, balance
in your schedule. So that this does not happen, because now both of these teams are going to go in there and they just got to play it off the hump now, because you don't know what your team can actually do because they've been overpowered in these other games. That's a bad thing, man. That's why you got to have balance in that schedule. Well, as a coach, let me just speak for myself. As a coach, I would want balance so I can figure out what schemes that I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to do, does it actually work? You know, and it's hard to do that when you're going against when your kids are outmatched and they can't run stuff. Yep.
And that's why you always want to try to balance that schedule out if you can. You know, you want those kids to experience some success, you know, in the preseason, you know, prior to going into conference play, that sort of thing. And, you know, not bad mouthing anybody or anything like that. You know, the 1.2 million sounds good on paper, Charles. You know, it sounds good, and, you know, everybody's happy to bring the dollars in, that sort of thing. But, you know, that's not balance. You know, that's not balance at all. And the kids are going to pay for it ultimately.
And you know what I'm going to say? I'm still looking. I understand about budgets, and it's already spoken for, but man, remember on my wish list, I said, can they get 1%?
Yeah.
That's maybe far-fetched. Now, how about 0.5%? No.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I asked Coach Morton, brought this up to me. We're talking about the schedule. He really didn't know that we were opening up with 3 straight conference road games. He was focused in on trying to, and when he got the job, there was only one game on the schedule. That was South Alabama. And so the rest of these games he scheduled. But he said if he had known, he would not have played as many of these road games, and he would have played more home games, however way that would have looked. But
they still haven't played a home game yet, Charles.
No, we have not played a home game yet. No.
And the first three gonna be on the road for the conference. This is where the AD and the coach, they gotta have a pretty good relationship. Because now, if you told me I gotta play all my non-conference games on the road, I would have them keys in your hand so quick, man. And I said, you can have this, because it doesn't help me as a coach. It does not help my players. Now you gotta have a balance, man. You gotta have a balance. See, right now, the NC2A is looking more and more at they put more emphasis on mental health, right? The mental health of those kids is not where it needs to be right now. I guarantee you. They don't know what they can do because they have not had an opportunity to play against teams that they're going to see in the SWAC. So mentally, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be one of the games that I'm going to watch today. I want to see where these kids are mentally.
Well, they may come out and have a bit of counting of themselves against Jackson.
Free at last.
Well, here's another point. Nate Kilbert brought it up to me today. He saw this, and I think I saw it too. Do you know that 2 SWAC teams on the women's side have two of the three toughest non-conference schedules in the country?
Southern had the first, had the number 1.
The Lady Braves number 3.
Southern had
they cut the lights off on you, Charles. That was the Jackson State people.
These are motion lights. I got to stand up here.
No. This is what happened. See, when somebody said, Charles, look. Somebody said Charles look good with that blue and white. Charles put the lights out so it won't be blue and white.
Travis Jerome just came in here and said, "Man, that blue and white looks real good in this backdrop." That's what I can say, but nothing. But yeah, I mean, so we had the 3rd toughest schedule in the country on the women's side. I knew Southern schedule was tough. I didn't know where it was ranked, but
number 1.
I don't. And again, and I've said this is from what I've been told, that there's really no requirement in terms of what the women have to bring in financially. So Kilbert can schedule whatever he wants. I think next year we got LSU again. I think next year we're going back to Destin for another tournament down there, like we did this year. To me, like, do we really know our teams considering the gauntlet of games that we played? Coach Pettaway answered it. How long does it take, though, guys, for us to really get to know our team? Does it take a third of the schedule? You got 18 games. Does it take 6 games, 7, the first 2 weeks?
At least 3 or so. At least 3.
Yeah.
If not 4, at least 3.
Yeah. I agree.
But
just 3 or 4 games. Yep, just 3 or 4 games would be enough.
Okay.
But I'm thinking, Coach Pettaway, let me put it this way. Do you think some coaches would say, I kind of know my team now? For example, Southern picks up 2 back-to-back wins against Arizona and Houston.
Right.
Very, very surprising. I'm going to be honest. I thought those would be 2 games that probably they wouldn't win. But guess what? They got it done. Now, they lost to Baylor, but Baylor was a better team than Arizona and Houston. I believe Arizona and Houston were picked in the lower half of the Big 12 conference. So I guess, again, my question, Coach Pettaway, do you think some coaches would say they do know their team? I understand what you said.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've seen their teams come back, play some basketball against better competition. Yes, from that standpoint. But if you got a young team, because I think somebody just put it up about Texas Southern. When Texas Southern was playing all those games like that, they were doing it with transfers. They weren't doing it with high school kids. They were doing that with grown men who had already been through the gauntlet. So that's why Texas Southern, used to be able to put together that when Mike Davis was there. Mike he only got transferred. You didn't see Mike with freshmen. So when you got older kids, mentally, they can handle things a little bit better than a high school kid. So in that instance, Carlos, if Southern has a good mixture of players, you all had the nice returning group, and then Carlos went out, Coach Fontes went out and brought in some various pieces to go with it. So yes, he does know his team because he has the right experience on that bench in terms of his players to play a schedule like that. And you got to look at this too now. He had balance. Funches played home games. He didn't play all his games on the road.
No, but he played. Yeah, but they've had a couple of home games, and Coach Pettaway Southern over Prairie View 70-55. I say this: Prairie View and the young lady, I think her name is Young. She came in and really played well, and I could see the potential and the growth in Prairie View. And remember, you said a couple of years ago, Arizona and Houston, they know of Southern, but they don't know Southern like Prairie View does, if that makes sense. Because they're in the conference, and I thought Prairie View came out. They took Southern's shot at first. They bounced back, and Southern was a better team, and they moved on, and they won the game. But doesn't a conference team know their opponents say better than those outside teams?
Right. Because especially if it's the same coach, because you know their philosophy, you know some of their tendencies, that kind of stuff, and you know the personnel. Because
I think we're talking about in relation to the competition, not that coaches don't know their team, because you know your team, but in relation to the competition, when you're playing above your head or trying to play above your head each and every night in the preseason, then you're going to be doing some things that you probably won't do, come conference season, or if you're playing somebody of the same caliber from a talent point of view. So I think we're talking about in relationship to the competition.
Yep.
Well, it's been tough. I looked at the records prior to the show. It's tough, even on the men's side. Southern has 4 victories. They could have had a couple of more, but Washington lost in overtime. They had some teams of equal value, talent-wise, program-wise. But when we look at it, I think it's going to be a competitive season. I think it's going to go down like last year to the last week as far as positioning. Did I say positioning, Charles?
Mm-hmm.
Coach Pettaway, because I guess that is important, right?
Yes.
But all teams are going to participate in the conference tournament. And remember, we had a guest, John Grant, said that was great from a marketing standpoint. But I still don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I guess growing up, now, I'll put it this way. Now people get awards for second and third place, fourth place. When I was coming up, it was first place, and that's it. Second and third place, you get better, and we'll see you next year. I don't know that. Y'all could try to convince me, but 12 teams that Coach Pettaway, I just don't like it.
Well, now, and then it goes back to this, Carlos.
That's just me.
Matter. All games matter. So you got to be ready to play. Now it's conference time. All that other stuff that happened in preseason, forget it. It's a new season. This is the season that you came in for. You want to win a conference championship? Every team still has that as their goal right now.
Yeah. But I also think, though, with the tournament, with all teams in the tournament, of course, if you're playing for a regular season title, if you're in that cut, you're in that cut. But I think what you got to pay attention to now is with every team in, those who are in that bottom bracket, the regular season ends on a Thursday. I just saw this yesterday when I was looking at some of these games. The tournament starts on a Monday for those lower seeded teams. So you're talking about, if you're one of those lower seeded teams, you got to play a lot of basketball to win the whole thing. Do you want to be in that situation, where your season ends on a Thursday, and then you got to hop on a bus or a plane Saturday to go to Atlanta and get ready to play, and then you got to play again the next day. I mean, the way the brackets are set up, do you want to be in that position? I wouldn't if I'm a coach. I want to be in a situation where I can avoid that. So I think that's something to pay attention to later. And if you're one of those teams that's playing for a regular season championship, if you're a Grambling or if you're a Southern, if you're in that top upper shelf, like Wheeler Brown likes to say, and you're playing for a regular season title, that means something too. Because Carlos, you said it for the last couple of years. With every team in, what does the regular season mean? I mean, what do you shoot for in the regular season when you're going to be in the tournament, whether you're 18 or 18-0 or 0-18, you're going to be in the tournament. So what does the regular season mean? I'm trying to put that together in terms of if you're at the top, it means something. If you're at the bottom and you want to avoid all of those games in Atlanta, there's something to play for too.
Well, that's a simple discussion, Coach Pettaway. You get in the top bracket and you don't have to worry about playing
all these games
thirds and then coming on it. But if you're in the bottom, it should be difficult for you. It should be.
Yeah. And it is. But there are some people in this social media space who have shows who talk about SWAC basketball a lot that feel the same way, that they don't agree with 24 teams. That's just way too many teams. So, there are other folks in this space that have shows that have said publicly they don't agree with 24 teams either. But I think the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, I think the last couple of years wanted to have that experience of every team being in. And, of course, the conference, they have a committee and they have a little bit of influence with the conference office. So I think that kind of help make that discussion a little bit easier, and it's up to the conference to make it happen bracket wise, and they have.
Well, the process has been followed, right? There's that word again. Everybody agreed on it. So what? Carlos Brown don't care for it. So I don't like it, and I expressed it, but I still, at the end of the day, you support the student athletes. If they want all 24 teams, women and men, if they want the cheerleaders involved, go for it. I'm just expressing myself. I just don't care for it, but hey, I'm probably in the minority on that.
Did you like it? Did anybody like it when it was 8 teams? Eight teams. It was a dogfight when it was the top 8, and then you had the top 4 teams at home. Remember we had that set up for the SWAC tournament. I
like 8. Ocho.
Yep.
That's the one I like the best. I mean, 10, nah, but I guess I'm in the minority on that one. Give me the old 8, the old Ocho.
Or how about the top 4? You had a first round tournament home game,
and that's what I like. I like the first round at the site of the higher seed.
Yeah.
To me, that was a little bit more in terms of rewarding your upper level, your upper squads. So and as opposed to everybody going to Atlanta.
Well, Coach Pettaway, you and Wheeler basketball.
But I mean, I can understand the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, wanting everybody to experience going to the tournament in terms of going to Atlanta, that sort of thing. And, so I mean, I can understand that, and I can understand the powers that be caving in, to that request. It's just from an administrative point of view, now I have to find the money in order to send my team that's 0-18 or what have you, to Atlanta for 3 days, 4 days, or whatever it is, that sort of thing. I got to find money now that normally I would not have found or had to find in order to make that happen.
Well, Willie, you already found it. You played all them guarantee games. You got it.
That's what I was going to say.
At the expense of the track team and the softball team and the baseball team. And
they should go first class.
Somebody ain't got a glove now, Coach Pettaway. Somebody don't have a glove.
But look, hey, Willie.
Somebody don't have a warm-up suit.
That's the basketball players' reward, man, for playing all them games.
1.2. What's that say?
Bless
1.2 million?
Heart, Coach. Bless him. Bless him.
1.2 million? Oh my goodness. I could 2%, 1%.
And again, we have this Thursday, Saturday schedule for the women's side. Some people might not know, and we got to kind of put that out there. It's something that we talked about might not happen going into the season, but from what the coaches voted in approval, yes, they had no problem with it. So once they voted yes, that was it. I mean, and I've never really heard anything negative from the coaches about it. I think the fans and probably people on campus, the operations folks, the security folks, campus police, there was an issue with having obviously Thursday, Saturday, Monday games and having to make that happen. But the coaches, I never really heard anything negative about it. So I think it was kind of a reflection of what I kind of been hearing, all along, that they didn't have an issue with it. Let's keep it. And so once they said yes, that was the end of the conversation.
And I think, everybody
talking with them off the record.
Everybody want to be highlighted, Charles. So, I wouldn't have expected, the coaches to complain or anything like that. They want this time in the sun, their spotlight, and being able to play alone on Thursday, makes the focus entirely on them, that sort of thing. And that's understandable that they would want that.
On that note, we'll have to put a button in that part. We'll take a quick time out. Our guests have arrived backstage. Jaguar Athletic Group. They're going to join us after this timeout. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be right back.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically Black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
It's the 37th annual Zora Festival. It's in Edenville, Florida, Saturday, January 31st and February the 1st. On Saturday, the all-white party tribute to Frankie Beverly with May's guitarist Jubu. Bread, Sunset, and Taisha Will. And on Sunday, the Line Dance Party Live with Jeter Jones, Mike Clark Jr., and Boss Lady Coco. Tickets available at zorafestival.org.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, joined by Willa Brown and Coach Vann Pettaway. Now, our special guest, a member of the Jaguar Athletic Group. Let me see if I can get this name right. Janera, that's the way it was typed. But she's going to join us from the Jaguar Athletic Group. Good afternoon. Did I pronounce your first name right?
Janara.
Okay.
Yes. You did. You did a good job.
And also, Daniel Morris. I think he's going to join us as well. Let's see. Okay. Well, I think maybe he's having trouble getting in.
The audio, I think the audio, there was some audio issues, but I think he should be in.
Daniel.
Oh.
Danny. That's
Can
I
you
was
hear me?
calling Danny. Yeah, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
good
sir.
Can you
morning.
hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
I can.
Daniel, can you hear us?
Log out and log
Hello?
back in. Yeah, we can hear you. I don't think you can hear us.
Yeah,
Hello?
Daniel, we can hear you.
Okay, log out and then log back in. Because I don't think you can hear
Hello?
us. So we
Yeah.
can hear you. Yeah, we
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you. Yes, can you hear
Yes.
us?
Hello?
Okay, tell them to log out and log back in.
All right.
Janera, good afternoon. Well, we'll start off with you.
Yeah.
Jaguar Athletic
Yeah.
Group. Talk about the history of the organization and when it started.
So we started the group. Danny founded the group. Started probably in 2022, prior to getting our 501c3 paperwork and everything together, and then officially in 2023 we became a full nonprofit. But we've been raising and kind of raising money, raising funds, and talking to people since about 2022. On and off, but really started getting serious after we got the 501c3 status. So the history of the group actually extends a little bit further back, because there was a group of individuals that started Jaguar Athletic Fund prior to us. We got with them, kind of spoke with them about, creating the group, and then we got busy with working and started doing various things for the athletic department. Not major things, but like small things around 2022, 2023. But really got out into social media and everything, and out into the public more in 2023. So that's the history of us as well.
Now, you're not how can I put this? You're a separate entity, right?
Correct.
From the other foundation, I guess, with Southern University. But your purpose of the organization, or what's the purpose of the organization now?
Our overall mission is athletics. Okay, that's the first thing. We are separate from the actual university, in that we don't put the funds into the foundation. So we're completely separate in that aspect. So we're independent in that any funds generated through Jaguar Athletic, those funds stay with Jaguar Athletic, and then we do different projects. And Dana's trying to get on right now. I think he had some issues with the audio hearing, but we can hear him, but he can't hear us. But anyway, so we are in an independent group. So when people say, "Are you recognized by the university?" We're not recognized in that we don't put into the foundation or the federation. The money stay with us so that we can give complete accountability and transparency to anyone that gives, any donors that we have or fans. So yes, we are a separate entity, which is what we need.
Yeah, and I understand. That's why I kind of wanted to put that out there, just for the record. Now, you kind of talked about projects. My next question is goals of the organization, including projects long and short term. We got a new coach coming in. The student athletes, they need some things, but as far as helping, including projects, kind of what are some of the short term and then the long term projects or goals?
So we started a project in 2023 under our past coach. We started a project where we were going to renovate the meeting rooms there, and that was our first project that we began getting funds for, trying to get everything together as far as redoing those meeting rooms, because they didn't have actual meeting rooms they didn't have a dedicated meeting room. So that was one of the things that we started. And I think we get some feedback maybe from Danny. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but anyway, so we started that project, and we have never, like, they started talking about the roofing and everything there was a leak. We were going to begin trying to fix that, giving monies to fix that, and then to renovate that whole meeting room to give the players a space. Our son played for a while, and we saw the conditions there. That's not why we started. We started before that. We kind of saw the conditions there and what they were dealing with. So we said, okay, hey, we can start with that small project until we can get more funds to do additional projects. But that was our short-term goal for undergrades. Now, with Coach Falk, we don't know what his game plan is with renovations of facilities, but we're here to help with that. So whatever we can do to help with that as well.
Danny,
Don't y'all get nervous because I'm a woman talking about athletics now.
no ma'am, no ma'am.
Don't y'all treat me differently.
No ma'am. Title IX is appreciated. It's appreciated.
But Danny is here finally, so I'm gonna let him take.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing now?
Yeah.
All right. Long time no see. Former offensive lineman for Southern University.
Oh yeah, long time ago.
Yeah. Well, being a former athlete, you kind of know you've been through under Coach Richardson, and you've been involved with, I guess, with the program. What do you want to add on to the conversation about the Jaguar Athletic Group?
Well, the Jaguar Athletic Group, again, Janar's already said everything, but we started because we saw a need for having our athletes actually get service and get the things that they need. Mine goes back to 1993 playing for Coach Richardson, but additionally, when I was a strength and conditioning coach, there are some things that would happen that I wasn't able to control. I would go and ask for different things, and we just weren't able to get them. And so I looked back at that and I said, the easiest way to get things done is actually have things donated to you. Right. So our thing is to make sure that we actually get athletes what they actually need. Janar said we previously worked with Coach Graves to try to get, I wanted to do a players lounge, but he said he needed a meeting room. So we went, we got with the architect, we got everything drawn up. And so we want to make sure that our athletes have everything that they need. And we figured that the best way to do it was to be able to actually give it to them and do these projects. But the way to do these projects, we had to figure it out. So eventually we met with the attorney from Tiger Athletic Fund over at LSU, and he gave us the blueprint to get everything done, get the 501c3 status, make sure that we're able to actually do things the right way and put things where they should be, so that when we do projects, we don't have issues. So that's the reason why we got started, because we just saw that there was a need and there was an actual way to actually do it and get it done faster and get it done better.
Right. Hey, Daniel, let me ask you something. Is the athletic group for all sports or just football?
It's going to be for all sports, because our board members not only played football, they ran track, they played tennis, played volleyball. So these are folks who actually know what's going on and need to see and want to see our athletes get treated right. But one thing that we all know is football is the driver of everything. Football is where you make your money for all the sports that don't generate revenue. And that's one thing that I learned when I was strength and conditioning coach and working with different athletic directors, is that yes, we got to take care of everybody. We got to do everything that's right. We got to give everybody their time, but you got to make sure the engine that drives everything is taken care of. And so that's the reason why one of our first projects is to do something for those football players, to try to get them something that they can be comfortable in. And then as you generate more, and then as the athletic department themselves, which is separate from us, generates more funds because they have better facilities for the athletes, then that allows them to be able to put more money into those other sports. So that's the reason why we always looked at trying to do something first for the football team. Then we can generate things that can take care of all of our other sports.
Right.
Excellent question. You kind of, I'm sure, heard about last week. Board of Supervisors Chairman Tony Clayton was on, and I kind of went back and looked at some of the comments, and he said we need to talk, and I think he was referring to Jaguar Athletic Group. Where's your relationship with the university, as far as, you know, your separate entity, but you're trying to do things to help the university? Where's that relationship with you guys?
Oh, we have a relationship because let's see, maybe last year we were just on the call with the athletic director and some other different groups trying to put different things together. So it's relationship is fine. I know Coach there, he was with basketball when I was strength and conditioning coach, and like I said, have no problem working with anybody. So like I said, we know the chairman of the board, knows some board members. So our thing is being working with individual coaches. We worked with Coach Dawson when we were dealing with the Southern Football Alumni Association, bought different things for them. Strength and conditioning coach, the current, well, I don't know if he's still there or not, but gave us a list of things that he needed. So working with the athletic department is something that we've done continuously. And we know a bunch of those different members of the board and everybody in the athletic department from working in the athletic department all those years ago.
Well, here's a pointed question for both of you. Mm-hmm. Will there be a meeting or get together with Tony Clayton and I guess the athletic chair committee members in the near future?
We're open to it. There was a comment by Chairman Clayton, said he wanted to give us a talk earlier this year. So I believe that there is something forthcoming. But we've always really just dealt with the coaches, and of course, all of us know each other. So it's not an issue of whether or not we doing things that no one knows about, because we've done this before. Back when we were doing, we would always do a meal at Rose Hill Church for the football team every year when they came back right before camp. So we've always been doing these type of different things. So that's why, you know, we don't have a problem with working with anybody or any.
Yeah. I understand. I guess I'm trying to not be a mediator or the point guard, but it's for the student athletes and all parties involved. And also, I think last week something was brought up on the show. You have, uh, Janera, a lot of different booster groups. I think Willa brought it up, if I'm not mistaken, about getting them all maybe on one accord, one umbrella to help the student athletes. What do you think about that?
I think this is very beneficial, and I think what we need to understand about Jaguar Athletic Group is that even though we're an outside entity, this has been done repeatedly. Like
Mhm.
everything that's going on at the university, a lot of those funds are private funds that are just being given to the university, and the university has to go by certain parameters. You look at the amphitheater that's being built. You look at some of the buildings that are being built. A lot of those are outside funds, so we serve as the same purpose. We just do it in a collective manner. So it's not like it's an entity that is separate or saying, okay, hey, pool all your money over here and do this. It's nothing against that. We say all the time, please give where you're comfortable. Please.
Okay. Yes. She said, "Give where you're comfortable." Uh, Danny.
Yes. That's what we always feel because everybody needs to give wherever you're comfortable. If you're comfortable with Jaguar Athletic Group, give to Jaguar Athletic Group. If you're comfortable with Quarterback Club, give to Quarterback Club. If you're comfortable just giving to the Foundation Federation, you give wherever you're comfortable. But our thing is to make sure that whatever dollars you give to Jaguar Athletic Group, you're actually able to see it because we want to make sure that you feel comfortable and that you will keep on giving because we all have to pool everything together to be able to make these $1 million donors. So, like I said, we always believe that everything works for the good as long as we're always working and pulling in the same direction. So, if you, no matter where you want to give, if you're comfortable there, give there. All right. But our thing is to make sure that we have everything set up the way all the other groups do it. Tiger Athletic Fund, 1400 Club in Jackson State. All these different groups have everything set up where it's outside and then they can do everything that they need to do at the university. Because once you start getting bogged down and you got to go through the bidding process and all these other different things, then you get things that you don't need. So that's our thing. You see all these stadiums being built, all these different locker rooms being done. It's done because private funds are able to go and say, these are the contractors we want. This is what we want to put down. We don't have to go and say, hey, state of Louisiana, state of Mississippi, state of Alabama, what can we do? All right. We're actually able to go and say, this is what we want to do because we have private funds and we can actually get it done. So, again, like with us, we already got for the locker room, not the locker room, for the players' lounge / meeting room, we already went and got a architect to get everything done. So whenever we're approved, we can just move right on and then use the contractors and the materials that as long as it's, certified by the state, we can put them in there. So it's one of those things where all these different things, we have a plan. We're trying to execute that plan. We have the ability to do it. And that's just our vision. All right. So I'll even go back to when I was the strength and conditioning coach. I had about $45,000 that was donated to my department, and I still haven't seen it. All right. Not because somebody did anything wrong, but because there were other things that may have been considered more important at that time in the athletic department. But with us, with Jaguar Athletic Group, just like, again, all the other groups that are at every university, all right, around the country that actually gets things done, all right, their money goes directly to a project, and you can see the money that you actually put in.
And let me say this. All of us are not fortunate, like, say, a Tony Clayton or even a Coach Pettaway who can give hundreds of thousands of dollars. but I can give, 1880, or I can give even the small amounts can help. I'm about with this interview and future interviews about doing stuff that can help. That's what I'm trying to do. So small amounts to large amounts, all is needed, right, guys?
I'll give it to you like this. We were talking to someone else about it. My wife and I were talking earlier today. Everything that has been done in the Black community has been done based on pooling resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about Baton Rouge. All right, Baton Rouge. Then we also had the bus boycott in Baton Rouge. We had the bus boycott in Alabama. All right, everybody pooled their resources together, right? And they were able to move mountains. So it's you don't need $1 million donor, right? All you need is a bunch of donors who can make up that $1 million. All right. So again, if you give $18.80 a month, right, basically $20 a month, it's $225 a year, right? And if you just look at the amount of alumni we have 100,000 alumni, right? So if every alumni gave $18.80 a month, in 1 year you have $22 million, right? So it's not like you need. I mean, it'd be great to have a bunch of $1 million donors just throwing money in, but if you can pool all the resources that you have, that's when you can really come in and do the work. Because again, if you look at Tiger Athletic Fund or all these other ones at Texas A&M and all these other schools, guess what they do? It's not the $1 million donors that make all the difference all the time. It's the people who've never even gone to college who give their $50 a month to each one of these groups.
Mm-hmm.
All of them together keep the lights on, keep all the things moving. And it's great when you have that $1 million donor, all right? But when you have millions of dollars that get pulled in just from the average Joe, every month, that makes all the difference. Again, everything that you see that's done is usually done collectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why we say if we pool everything together, that's when we can make a bigger impact, because it's going to be consistent. Again, sometimes people don't have $1 million to give, but people always have $20, $25 to give. All right, because again, you think about, I don't tell people how to spend their money, but you think about all the times we go and we might spend $20 at a Starbucks, $20 at any little place, when if you put $20 in your pocket, by the time you get home, you don't know where it went. Right, but you could take that same $20 and actually put it somewhere where it actually make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, makes it grow.
Well, Carlos, I got to get ready for my pregame, but I want to say to Daniel, you're exactly right. When you're kind of on the outside of it, when you talk about the bidding process, at our radio station, I can't order anything that's over $5,000 without getting 3 bids or 3 quotes.
That's it.
But you don't have to go through that process. You can get whoever you want to get as long as it conforms with the university standards, which I think you can agree with. So I would definitely agree that with private funding, you can do whatever you want to do. Coaches' salaries are funded with private donations, as we see all over the country. So I think that's an important aspect.
Thank you so much. I agree completely with you.
All right, guys, I gotta get ready for the pregame. Go Braves.
Good luck, Charles.
All right, good luck.
Yeah, yeah. I think with all alumni groups, the key is to give. The amount is not the issue. The key is to give back. That's what we got to get more ingrained into our students, our graduates. Just give. The amount is not the issue. Give.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And now, I'm good at playing devil advocate. So sometimes even my budget director, she may be listening. A little devil's advocate. What are some of the things you're going to hear? You got to be transparent, right? Is that the number one thing you hear? Well, I don't trust. How do you address that? Now, I know some of that is directed at actual foundation, Southern University, and athletics. But guys, how do you push back on that?
Well, our transparency has been. We just did a drive for December 31st. Making $100,000 in 31 days, 100,000 in 31 days. Yeah, that was our drive. And so each day we would put out how much we made from that drive. And we saw it reflected in the university as well. The university, at the end of their drive, they ended up, which we had never seen before, they ended up putting out how much they had made in that day. And so it forced transparency, it forced accountability, and that's where we are. You know, we're the thing about Jaguar Athletic, we want you to know where your money is going. If you give $10, we want you to know that $10 went towards this. And so we hear about transparency and accountability as far as the university is concerned. A lot of that information is public information anyway. It's just you don't see that those funds have gone towards specifically athletics. And why is that? The same thing Danny just said. You know, sometimes those funds are used in different spaces, and we may not know what it's being used for. We don't think that there's anything that is going awry or there are issues. Some people think that that's the conspiracy theory. But what people need to understand is when we're dealing solely with public funds, when you put that money into the university, it becomes public funds. And so there is accountability, and that money could be used anywhere unless it's restricted. The point of private funds is when you give private funds, you say, hey, this is where these private funds are supposed to go. This is what we're doing with them. And they're earmarked. There you go. So that's the benefit of having this collective with these other organizations as well, with alumni. If you're uncomfortable with giving to the university, give to a private collective that can say, hey, this is where your funds are going. So yeah, we hear all kind of things. We don't know who you are. We don't know, even though we're all over the place. You can see us everywhere, and people come and tailgate with us. They do all kind of stuff with us. They see us at Bayou Classic. That's one thing we donate every year through Bayou Classic by getting kids tickets to the game. This year we brought kids to the game. This year, put them in suites. Did all kind of stuff. So you may not. If you're uncomfortable, and this is what we hear all the time, I'm uncomfortable because I don't see transparency, I don't see accountability, then give to a private collective where your funds, you will see your funds and you know where your funds are going. So that's kind of the things that we hear. Danny, I don't know.
No, I completely agree. And the thing about it is, when we tell you that we're going to do something, then we have to do it. All right. So that's one thing that folks don't understand. All right. If they say I'm gonna build X, Y, Z, if I'm gonna build a locker room, all right, but then that locker room has to be built. All right. If we say we're going to put money towards a lounge, put money towards meeting rooms, well then you got to actually see that. And so for us, that's our whole thing. All right. We have funds, we have things that we can do. Again, like I said, we're working with Coach Graves to get everything done for the meeting rooms. And with the new coach, we just kind of meet with him and meet with the athletic director and see, hey, can we go ahead and finish what we had already started? Because again, we already have all these things, and the best way to be transparent is to do what you say you're going to do. And so for us, like I said, once we have funds in place, we have donors who donated, nice bits of change. And until we can, get everything lined up with the coach and say, all right, we can go ahead and get started, well, then that money doesn't move. And then we can show money's still sitting there. All right. So again, we're not with the athletic department, we're not with the university. Whatever specifically we say we're going to do, that's what we're there to do. And so that's the best, to me, that's the best way to be transparent. If you want to see your dollars, if you remember, if you donated, we can show you, hey, the money's still sitting there. All right. And until we're able to do something, that's what's going to happen. Because again, I'm not taking anybody's money and not going to do what I said I was going to do. All right. So again, that's the best way to be transparent, because until you can do that, nobody's going to trust you. Once we get our first projects done, then it won't be an issue. Everything will be able to roll forward. And so, again, people can only trust what they see. Again, the money that we've collected, we've told the folks who donate to us exactly what we're going to do with it. We said we're going to feed the team every time they came back to start the year off, and we've done that. We showed them the receipts, and they've been excited and happy with it. So the people who've donated, we've shown them exactly what their donations went to. All right, they've seen all the different things we put out on the tables, all the different things that we've done, and so those people are happy with us. So we're just going to continue to do the projects that we have slated, and then once we're able to actually get that lounge done, I don't think anything else will be an issue.
Well, we're definitely going to have a follow-up. I'm inviting you to come back and, excuse me, and kind of give us an update on how things are going. I'm hoping that the meetings with the people of influence, that will happen in the new year. My final thing is, if you want to invite someone to join, how they can help, talk about that, and then we'll follow this up in the upcoming weeks. We'll have you back on again.
Jannar, on that one, we have our website, Jaguar Athletic Group, that you can go to. We'll put that in the comments. I don't know how to do that. Jannar does, but you can go to Jaguar Athletic Group, and you can www.jaguarathleticgroup.com, and you can see all the things, all the ways you can donate. We're opening up to where we can have our volunteers come in. We'll also post the next Zoom meeting we have. We had our last Zoom meeting on December 21st. For all those who are interested, we'll post again when our next Zoom meeting will be, so that we can not only have people come see what we're doing, but actually also join and volunteer, because again, we love to have money, all right, but we're also going to do donations in kind. So once we're in our projects, you'll be able to see, sometimes we'll have where you may be able to purchase a couch, or purchase weights, or purchase something that one of the folks from the athletic department has come to us and said that they need. So again, because like right now, I still have a list from Coach Moore. If he's still going to be there, we'll disseminate that list. So if you want to buy certain things that are on the list that he needs for the weight room, you can do that. All right. So we're just going to be a way to facilitate all the different things that can be done, because again, we're here to make sure that the athletes get what they need and get what they need to be great on and off the field. All right. So that's where we are. And again, JaguarAthleticGroup.com. Come check us out, and you'll be seeing us post and do a whole bunch of other stuff, and then see us moving as well.
On that note, appreciate both of you. See some comments coming in. Please make sure I get an update when I donate. Yeah, I'm going to donate as well.
You get an automatic receipt, and you also get the letter which has the 501c3 information on it. So whatever you donate, you actually get your tax credit for.
I think I should do that, and I will do that. You know, I'm not blessed like Willa to have a whole lot of financial money, but hey, I can do something.
Hey,
I gotta walk it like I talk it.
Yes, sir.
Let me say one last thing before you go. We really want to express to our fans, our our alumni, our donors, we have to become revenue earners for the city of Baton Rouge as well as for Louisiana. And I think we could talk about that later, but this is a big issue with, how we generate funds and how the legislature will give funds back to us. We have the school across the river. They're generating funds. They're generating revenue for Baton Rouge. We only generate through homecoming and through Bayou Classic. We got to get more. And then we'll get more. And then we have to start this collective with giving in the privatization. We have to start that. So, we push our fans, our alumni, all of them to start giving, because once we become big revenue earners within Baton Rouge and Louisiana, people see us more corporations will give. Tony Clayton is talking about these naming rights. We have to be earners and pushing out money to those to Louisiana and Baton Rouge so that we can get those things. So I just wanted to throw that out there before we end it.
Very important, and like I said, we're going to follow up on this. We're going to invite you back again real soon, and I would like to see at least a monthly update between this show and the group to kind of provide the information for the people. I definitely want to thank both of you for coming on. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm heading up to the basketball game immediately after this show. So, as always, go Jags. But appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
All righty. Members of the Jaguar Athletic Group. And see, Coach Pettaway, I'm just trying to give back, trying to be a mediator to get people together and get things done. We're not going to agree on everything, every issue. Heck, you can look at this show and see we don't agree on everything. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to make it better. Make it better. And it's for these student athletes. They help out the university.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think it's great. You got to have support groups for athletics, especially in this day and time. So it's all about trying to find ways to generate more money. So that my hats off to them. Alabama A&M's got the same thing. We got the Bulldog Club, we got the ACRG. Those are support arms for athletics, and 100% of their money goes towards the athletic department. So you got to have that, man. You got to have that.
Yeah, we got to count on ourselves to do a lot of the hauling. Now the big thing is going to be going forward. Can you get those different groups to come together and work together?
Okay.
And that's going to be the real key in the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the real key. Getting all those groups to move in the same direction. To agree on a particular project. If I got 3 groups that can help me get one big project done, then by all means, I want to try to bring all 3 of those groups together. Let's go and get it done. For the sake of the kids, for the good of the kids, for the good of the university, that sort of thing.
The hardliner has softened a little bit. All right, Coach, we got 10 minutes. 10 minutes left. Some SWAC basketball, sir.
Right, you got all these games. Go ahead.
Well, help me out here.
Okay.
For January 3rd.
Okay, January 3rd, we got FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. In fact, the women should be playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a big game. Charlie Ward will have his first time with the Florida Classic. Then next, you got our boy Charles is at Jackson State. Jackson State will that's a rival game. So both of these teams did not play on Thursday. PV, that same team that you were talking about, they down at Grambling. These are 2 of the teams that's going to be a great game on the women's side. And then when you look at it, I'm gonna do the women first, and then come back and do the men. And then Texas Southern women will be at Southern today at 2:30, and Alabama A&M will be at Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Alabama State will be at Mississippi Valley. Those are the women's, and those games are some of them are. One of them has already started, and that should be the Florida A&M Classic. Now on the men's side, I was saying Charlie Ward will be in his first Florida Classic. Alcorn and Jackson, 2 teams that have not played at home that much. Alcorn at all, I think Jackson may have had 2 games. Now, the 2 surprise teams in the preseason for the men, Prairie View and Grambling going at each other. Grambling has had an outstanding preseason schedule along with Prairie View. Both of them have some big time wins, and we shall see. Then, of course, Texas Southern at Southern. It's always a battle. Always a battle.
Yeah.
Yep. Johnny Jones always plays a tough non-conference schedule. He wants to prepare his team for the conference. He just played this past week. They won the game. So they'll be at your place this evening now, this afternoon. And then Alabama A&M men will be playing for the first time in the conference. They'll go against Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Alabama State's going to have to go down to Itabena. What game do you like the best today, Carlos?
Ooh, boy. Prairie and Grambling. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
His name escapes me, but he was on Southern's basketball team. He was at University of Texas San Antonio. He was at one of the Tennessee schools.
Well, who's he playing with now?
With Prairie View.
Oh, with PV. Oh, yeah.
You remember we talked a couple years back. It was an incident, and he was released from the team. You have some people that say,
right.
I wish we could have had him. No, I'm glad, happy he's doing well at Prairie View. Of course, Texas Southern and Southern Johnny Jones coached in this city.
Ron Joseph.
Yes.
Joseph, that was the kid. Yep.
Yeah. Joseph, not the Joseph of the Bible, but the Joseph, I'm happy for him. He's found the spot. Well, he's found the spot again. So he did a good job against LSU. Yeah, he can score. Also, Texas Southern and Southern's is always a great game. Johnny Jones coaching in Baton Rouge, coming back to Baton Rouge to coach. He's going to have his team fired up. And then I'm interested to see Alabama A&M with their new coach.
Right.
Against Arkansas Pine Bluff. So I guess if you look at it, though, probably the game of the you got two games of the week on Saturday.
Right.
Texas Southern and Prairie View at Grambling, and then don't sleep on FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. Now, Monday is Alabama State at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Prairie View at Southern, it's men. And Texas Southern at Grambling State. Boy, that should be a good one, too. And Alabama at Mississippi Valley State. Quickly, guys, FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. Who you like in that ball game?
I'm going with Bethune. If we're talking about the men now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with the men. I'm going with Bethune.
How about
Definitely
the
gotta go with Bethune. Charlie's still wet behind the ear.
Oh.
No, I just think Bethune may have a better team. With all those transfers in there. Porter was very good to him now.
But say
he still got milk on his breath, Carlos. He a baby.
I'm going to maneuver away from that one. But, I'm looking at the overall and teams on the winning streak. Bethune-Cookman was picked to win it, right?
Correct, yeah.
Would you say they've had a tough non-conference schedule?
Yes, very tough. Very tough.
And they're 3-10. See, playing those, again, we talked about a balance. Having that balance is better. Jackson State and Alcorn. We'll go quickly.
Jackson State because they're at home.
I would agree with that. Jackson State. Wheeler?
Jackson State.
Prairie View at Grambling State. And you can throw in your women's prediction as well.
Prairie View at Grambling on the men's side. I'm going to go with Grambling. I'm going to go with Grambling men and women on this one.
Grambling too. Grambling also.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree, but, I guess I kind of found a soft spot in Prairie View. I can see the potential of them. I'll go with Grambling State on both. Texas Southern at Southern.
I'm Southern all the way on this.
Yeah,
both games.
Definitely Southern.
I would agree. Alabama State, Mississippi Valley State. On the women's side, I think Valley. I think Valley gets it on the women's side, and on the men's side, I'm gonna go with Alabama State.
Right. Well, I'm going with Bama State on both games. I think Valley done got their upset for the year when they beat my Bulldogs. So
is that food? Coach Pettaway, you saying that's fool's goal?
Yeah.
I'm going with Vann State also. Cinderella turned back to a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Come on, Vanna. Don't let me down. Yeah, okay. And on Monday, I don't know. It's kind of hard to make predictions on Monday, so we'll hold off on that. Saturday is enough. But it'll be competitive, as we stated before, throughout the conference schedule. I think it's going to be a dogfight. Both
Right.
both
But
on the women's
Carlos,
side and
y'all
the men's
gonna have
side.
a big game Monday now with Prairie View coming in there. That's not
Yeah.
gonna be an easy game. They got size. I've seen Prairie View a couple times this year. Man, he long, man. Those kids play hard now. Remember,
And
LSU took the game from them.
well, to me, Coach Pettaway, LSU is not one of the top teams in the conference. But Prairie View and the young man you just mentioned, how is he going to be coming in Monday against Southern? Because I'm sure it's some bad feelings. He's probably going to be fired up. And for Southern, I want to see who's going to be that consistent second scorer.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Mhm.
And Southern has a player that's fourth in the nation in scoring. But boy, teams found out about him quick.
Yep.
Coach Pettaway. He's seen a lot thrown at him. That's why I say who's going to be that second consistent scorer. For
And you
Southern
know,
University.
and now you do know that the kid from Prairie View that transferred in, he leading the conference in scoring at 22 a game. And Michael Jacobs for Southern is averaging 20 points a game.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Michael Jacobs averaging
20 points a game.
Oh yeah, he slipped a little bit because he was averaging 24.
Right. And then the boy we were just talking about, Teron Joseph, he leads the SWAC in scoring at 22 a game from Prairie View.
That's going to be the challenge. Throw everything but the kitchen sink at him.
Yep.
I'm a defensive guru, Coach Pettaway.
Yeah, we're going to take the ball out of his hand. We got to reduce his touches.
That's right.
Can't stop it once he get it, so don't let him get it as many times.
Deny.
There we go.
Yes.
All righty.
Want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're on the minute mark. Want to thank our producer, Melanie. Also, in the chat room, continue the conversation. I'm getting the entourage ready. They're already ready. I'm headed to the F.G. Clark Activity Center to check out the women and the men. I'm going to be excited. I hope I don't get tossed out the arena, but I'm going to be sitting right behind the basket, so in case they have to come get me, because I'm going to be verbal. I want to see a good, clean call game. Coach Pettaway, I'm still not happy with 3 officials. And if I'm going to lose it, I'm going to lose it if the guy under the basket doesn't see the play and he refers to the outside official. I'll tell you now, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it.
I got you.
Happy New Year to everyone. We'll see you next Saturday at 11 a.m. for the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. As usual, peace and God bless.